And now that Roman Reigns is back, and he's fighting the very bloodline that he helped elevate on this roster, now spearheaded by his cousin, by the younger brother of the Usos, Solo Sikoa, who has brought in a dangerous trio in the form of Tamatanga, Tangaloa, and Jacob Fatu. Three individuals that Paul Heyman, the wise man to Roman Reigns, knew this was a threat, that this was not the plan. So much so that they would attack Paul Heyman, putting him through the announce table in Madison Square Garden. They attacked Jimmy Uso on the SmackDown following WrestleMania, putting him on the shelf for half the year. We finally see Jimmy Uso make his return at the Bad Blood event. And on this past week's SmackDown, he tells Roman Reigns, we need help. We can't do this alone. And obviously, the crowd begins to rumble. We feel the energy. We feel the momentum. The crowd. Everyone wants it. Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Roman Reigns. The original Bloodline. The crowd's on their feet. They're chanting yeet. And Roman Reigns looks at his cousin. And all it takes is 2 words. But in those 2 words, memories begin to flash. Memories like the Hell in a Cell match between Jey and Roman. Memories like when Jey had that impassioned promo against Roman where he says, I hate you. Memories of when Jey super kicked Roman Reigns, saying he was out. And in those 2 words, he says, no yeet. Roman Reigns is not ready to allow Jey Uso back into the fold. And I think that's such a fantastic approach when it comes to Roman. The easy way out would have been like, yeah, we need help. Call your brother. But Roman Reigns, if anything, has not changed who he was in the past 4 years. He stayed consistent. Some people want to say he's a babyface now. I would like to think he's still Roman Reigns. You could argue he's still the heel. It's just his attention is on other heels. But in Roman Reigns' mind, he's in the right. Jey betrayed us. He left the family. He thinks he's better than us. He wanted to be out so badly. Let him be on Raw. Don't bring him over here. We don't need him over here. You and I are holding it down, Jimmy. But Jimmy, of course, that's his brother. And although they fought at WrestleMania 40, brothers will fight. But at the end of the day, they're still brothers. Roman Reigns needs to come to peace with this. That they need Jey. And the word need is so crucial when it comes to this storyline. When we go to the beginning, Roman Reigns claimed that the family needed him to provide food on the table. They looked to him for leadership, for guidance, as an example for the bloodline. The Usos needed Roman Reigns to reestablish themselves as one of, if not the best tag team in WWE history. The WWE Universe, in Roman Reigns' mind, needed him. He was the needle mover. He was operating on God mode. But now that the tribal chief does not have a tribe to be a chief of, he is in need of some help. He has Jimmy. In order to complete that original 3, he needs Jey. He needs Jey. But how ironic is it that Roman, Jimmy, no championships, nothing to their name. No Ula Fala, no Universal Championship, no Tag Team Championship, nothing. Yet you look over on Raw, Jey Uso's the Intercontinental Champion. He's on top of the world. Again, like I said, one of the top baby faces on that brand. One of the top baby faces in the sport. He doesn't need them. Jey's doing just fine. He does not need Roman. He doesn't need Jimmy. They need him. So it's all about how are we going to get these three men on the same page. And I think the answer is Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is the wise man to Roman Reigns. He's remained loyal to him for the last few years. He wants this to work. And if Paul Heyman is of common sense, he's going to want revenge against the men who took him out. Solo, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, Jacob, Fatu. He understands, Paul Heyman understands, that as they're currently constructed, they can't take them on. 4-on-2? No. No. Cody Rhodes is done with the Bloodline for the time being. He has his hands full with Kevin Owens, and that's another story. So they need to go back to their roots. I can see Paul Heyman, whether it's with or without the OTC or Jimmy, heading over to Raw, wanting to speak to Jey, and Jey wants nothing to do with them. I told you I'm out. I don't want to be there. I don't need to be there. You need me. I don't need you. And I can't wait for a segment like that where Jey is in the back or in the ring with Paul Heyman. Jey is one of the more entertaining wrestlers on that roster. But when he becomes serious, when you saw his promo with Braun Breaker leading into the Intercontinental Championship match, you felt something. When it was serious, that's where the money's at. That's where the real cinema is at. And maybe he dejects Paul Heyman. Maybe he doesn't want to deal with it. But you know who's the one man who I think has proven to be one of the top baby faces? Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, for better or for worse, has always had a knack for connecting with the WWE audience because we find him genuine. We want to see part of ourselves in Sami Zayn. And one of the best qualities in Sami Zayn is his ability to see the best in people. When Jey Uso went over to Raw, and guys like Drew McIntyre were so anti Jey Uso, who was the guy that stuck up for him? Who was the guy that said, no, give him a chance? It was Sami. Sami, the same guy who trusted Kevin Owens after all they've been through. After all the attacks, after all the betrayals, after all the matches, he still found trust and belief in his friend to the point where they won the tag titles at WrestleMania 39. Sami Zayn is of the purest of the pure baby faces. Don't be surprised if Paul Heyman and Sami Zayn get together. Now, I don't mean like as in a partnership, but indirectly are able to persuade, convince Jey Uso, hey, even if it's for the one time, let's help them. I don't think this leads to a full-blown reunion, Bloodline's back. For the sake of Jey and his growth as a single star, I'm thinking it's a one-off. You know, the wise man came to me, Sami came to me to help you. I'll do it. But he's going to need a level of an apology, acknowledgement from Roman Reigns. I could see him and Jimmy making peace. They're brothers. But he and Roman Reigns, that's where it runs deep. They got to reconcile their differences. And I do think inevitably it will be War Games. The new Bloodline. The Tongans. Jacob Fatu. Solo Sikoa. Up against the OG Bloodline. Roman Reigns. Both Usos. And Sami Zayn. That's the matchup we want to see. Again, there's that argument about Cody Rhodes. He has his own deal with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, who's now caught in the middle. It has to be the OG Bloodline and the new Bloodline.